find it really interesting to look at all the layers of a cut from the ocean. Well, this is really the bay, erosion. We did have kind of a storm last night, which brought in a pretty decent high tide, but pushed a lot of sand up. Up at the top is where the erosion occurs. You can see the tile, some brick, but I don't see anything particularly old. So even as high as this thing is, which is about 5 feet, I don't know what that is. We're not seeing anything super old coming out. The bottles are on the 70s plus side. It's another brick. Just another brick. I'm not sure what this ever was. Some kind of bag. It's a nice big paver's brick. But nothing other than something to clean my finds with. Hello. See some newer bottles coming out here, Heineken, Corona. But nothing else. Gotta get that fishing line. Door handle. Old fence post. Small cobalt blue. Broken. Well, I guess I was meant to find that tiny cobalt blue anyway. There's a much nice darker version. And a tinier one. Maxima. It's a cute little bottle. Well, it might be on a cobalt blue run. I wasn't expecting this one to pop out, but I'm seeing a lot of embossing on it. See a nice dark rich cobalt blue. I'm gonna say it's a milk and magnesia. Yep. And though I have a lot of these, when they're in good shape, they're hard to leave behind. Not so sure how much time I want to spend on this piece because it was way buried in here, but a couple good chunks came out, and I think I'm a little bit closer to getting this out. Although, now that I'm handling it, I'm definitely gonna have to work on it a little bit more. It's almost there if it's full, and there it is. It does seem to be full. There's some kind of saucer. I had a feeling it was intact. I can get this crud out of it. there's anything to it. Looks like there's some writing there. This would be a fun piece. I'm hoping there's some kind of design in there. Oh, there it comes. And nothing. But it looks in great shape. Interesting. And we'll see what that says when we get it home. Cool. Haven't pulled one of these guys in a while. A cork top. Got a gazillion of them. This has got a little different edge on the lip here. I'm still hoping in this area, put another one out over there, I might get a little bit older. Thought I spotted a few interesting things in this one, especially this bottle right here. But I am seeing a lip chip already. But looks like it might be an old 7-Up. No, it just says half cup. It's an interesting one. Not super old lip chip. And I did some real damage to it. I just thought the color was interesting. Let's see what else is in here. It's like an old belt. Some kind of mass. Now, let me get a better. This is might be the end of a pipe, possibly. Let me sift this out and see if there's anything in there. Well, there was a cool little key in there. I think it's got some history to it. Briggs Stratton, maybe. Well, I just went about a half hour without getting anything. And then finally this nice little porcelain stopper popped out. But not much more than that. Well, here's my playground for the next 3 hours. A wind-blown section. Some sand. I like the wet section of sand there. It already looks like it's pretty far out. So I might be getting out in the water today. And a sign. Now if you remember, the first signal comes in as a fishing weight. So I like the way fishing weights lay in the sand, and I'm going to run that line because there's definitely heavier targets there. All right, that's where the fishing weight was. I'm about 2 feet up and right here, and I got some kind of copper bracelet with some little charms on it. Very next signal. Well, after hitting about a dozen quarters, I changed my angle a little bit, got a faint signal, wasn't great. I'm looking at something that could be gold plated, or not, maybe it's just copper. Part of a bracelet. It's funny, I think I got the rest of this bracelet at home. It's like a designer bracelet, it's costume. But I think I got the rest of this. Well, I'm in for the long haul. I got about another dozen quarters. And another piece of bling. You can see right away. Maybe part of an earring. Nothing precious yet. Well, this rang up exactly like all the other quarters did. And it's not a quarter. I don't know if it's silver. Looks more copper. But it's definitely a ring. So since I'm running out of time, I figured I would walk back faster and scan this area of all this windblown sand, because I do like the way it looks. And look what's sitting on top already. Kind of foreign coin. It's a euro. How cool is that? A plastic piece. That's without the detector. Army man. Well, the last of my little mini scheduled hunts this week, because I just couldn't get out enough, and I gotta head back to work right away. I was only able to come during the tide coming in, but there might be enough to scavenge around right now. And they're doing some rebuilding of our wall here, so they brought in some new sand. It's interesting. A lot of wind blown here, which I love to look at, because you got stuff surfacing. But even these mounds that they brought in, unfortunately right now they look like they've already been sifted. And I don't know where they're really bringing the sand from. Possibly back beyond the parking lot. Big piece of wood in this one. But I love to look around. Well, there's some stones in there, so they couldn't have sifted it too much. But anything potentially looking on the older side, old pottery, anything, would require looking a little deeper into it. Nothing. Well, this is really the only section that appears to have gotten washed out a little bit. And again, I know there's an old dump buried right here, but late model dump, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I was always curious if it was anything buried deeper than that I haven't dug yet. But there's always some interesting things getting washed up, or I should say resurfaced, because this stuff is always buried here. It's just the sand doesn't go out far enough for us to ever see it. There's some strange pieces. Look at this thing bolted down to this piece of wood. I have no idea what any of this stuff is. Of course, partially because I run a gym and I'm not so mechanically sound, but looks like graphite. Not sure what that is. Still looking for any recognizable treasure. And I'm going to do a quick walk all along this where you can see all the water washed out. Some stones. And I'm going to check up there. Alright, you can see I just pulled this one out where some of these newer bottles are starting to surface. Although that's a tab. Fancy little thing. That could be 60s or 70s. Oh, what's right here? Ah! Lip chip. Well, that looks like a slightly older Coca-Cola. It's still embossed. That's too bad that thing's chipped. I might have brought that one home. Got one surfacing here. Not sure if I can get that one out with one finger. I shouldn't be doing this, but got it out anyway, I think. Oh, it's just a jar. There's one right there. If only I had a big backhoe. Take the first 4 feet of this off. Strange little piece. Wow. It's a pretty big bone. I may see something interesting that just popped out. Oh, it's interesting, all right. I'm really surprised that I didn't dig right into this thing. Look at that. That is a much bigger stopper than I'm used to in this place. It looks in really good shape. Okay, that might be the find of the week. And maybe the last find of the week. Well, I'm working my buns off trying to dig out a hole here, but I think this is plastic, unfortunately. But I did pull out a cool little toy truck. Be interesting to try to date this thing. And I got about 10 more minutes to do some scraping, and that's a wrap. Well, finishing up the week, I did get to unearth what looks like a little toy teacup. And I'm not sure what this thing is. Some kind of container. It's got some writing on it. It's all beat up. Well, it looks like maybe it's like a talcum powder. I think that's... Oh, look at that. Talc. I don't need any of that.